Today, we're breaking down a really chilling piece of short fiction. It's a story that finds horror not in some old haunted house, but on the perfectly manicured lawns of a suburb. We're about to take a look at a neighborhood where fitting in comes with a truly terrifying price. The story kicks off with this single line, and right away, the tone is just unsettling. It's not just a sound, it's a feeling. The author even describes it as a vibration, like a finger bone scraping against your teeth. It takes something totally normal, a street lamp, and makes it feel invasive and just deeply, deeply wrong. And that unnerving feeling, it all starts with the setting itself. See, the horror of this place, Oak Ridge, is baked into its environment, a place where order has become a dangerous obsession, and being different is the first thing to get trimmed away. Now, we're not talking about your average, nice, well-kept community. No, in Oak Ridge, perfection is absolute. Every lawn, every single hedge is maintained with this precision that feels less like neighborhood pride and more like some weird, unspoken command. You know that uncanny valley effect, where something looks right but it just feels wrong? That's this entire neighborhood. And just how specific are we talking? Get this. The grass isn't just mowed, it's surgically leveled to exactly 2.5 inches. That one little detail tells you everything you need to know. This isn't natural perfection. It's clinical, it's absolute, and it's the first real sign of some unnatural force at play here. Of course, any system this oppressive needs its rules, and here, the Homeowners Association introduces a night curfew. It's a simple little ordinance. Residents are forbidden from being outside after dark. And this rule, it becomes the trigger for the entire story, pushing the neighborhood from just strange to actively dangerous. So the big question is, what happens when someone breaks that rule? Well, that's where we get to meet the enforcer of Oak Ridge's impossibly high standards. Our main character, Arthur, finds himself outside for the most boring reason you can imagine. He forgot to turn off his sprinkler. And this is so important. He's not trying to be a rebel. It's just a simple, relatable mistake. And that's what makes the horror he's about to face feel so random and so much more terrifying. So this is what he sees. And at a glance, it might look like a person, but then your brain starts to notice that every single detail is wrong. The proportions, the way it's too thin, its arms and legs are bent at these impossible angles, and it has no face, just a void. But maybe the most chilling part is that its body isn't even solid. It looks like it's made of the darkness itself, sort of bleeding into the night like spilled ink. The way it moves is even more unnatural. It doesn't walk, it doesn't run. Instead, it just leaps, instantly, between different shadows. 1 second, it's in the shadow of the basketball hoop, then boom, it's in the shadow of an SUV, then the fence, and then, finally, it's right at the edge of Arthur's yard, in the shadow of his own tree. Physical distance means nothing to it. Only the darkness matters. Okay, so all of this is building to the story's terrifying climax. But the real horror of this encounter you'll see isn't a physical attack. It's something way more insidious and psychological. Arthur is cornered, he's terrified, and he does the only thing he can think of. He tries to appeal to the rules. He yells that he's going inside, that he'll follow the curfew. It's this desperate, panicked attempt to try and reason with something that is clearly beyond all reason. And in response, he gets nothing. That constant, oppressive hum from the street lamps just stops. And this moment of total, absolute silence just cranks up the tension to an almost unbearable level. Arthur's just standing there, alone in the quiet and the dark, waiting. And then, a voice. It's described as a dry, papery sound. And what it says, well, this is the heart of the story's horror. It's not some big threat of violence. It's a mundane, bureaucratic complaint from the HOA from hell. His big crime? His hedges are 3 inches too tall. And here it is, the twist. That chilling whisper, it doesn't come from the creatures standing by the tree. No, it comes from the darkness that's connected to Arthur himself. It comes from his own shadow, the enforcer, the thing demanding his conformity. It isn't just out there, it's a part of him. And that brings us to the haunting aftermath, where we get to explore what it really means to pay the price for perfection.
When the sun comes up, the problem has been fixed. Arthur's hedges are perfectly manicured. His yard is absolutely immaculate. Order has been restored in Oak Ridge. But as you can imagine, this restoration came at a terrible, terrible cost.
A grim transaction took place in the dark. In exchange for having a perfect yard, for finally conforming to the neighborhood's impossible standards, Arthur lost something fundamental. The sun is shining brightly, but he no longer casts a shadow. And the loss of his shadow, it's such a powerful metaphor, right? It represents that piece of himself he was forced to sacrifice, his individuality, his imperfections, maybe even his soul. To fit in, to be perfect, he had to give up a part of what made him a whole person. And that leaves us with this final, lingering question. The story of the Suburban Shadow is really a dark fable about the pressure to conform. It forces us to look at the expectations we live under, all the unspoken rules we follow, and ask ourselves, what parts of ourselves are we trimming away just to fit in? And what is the ultimate cost?